Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Hope you're having a great day so far. I'm still recovering from the cold that I got a couple of weeks ago. Apologies in advance for any coughing during this video. But as they say, the show must go on, so welcome to the Demoscene report for the 18th of December 2024. If you're new to this series of videos, I summarize all of the news and releases that happened this past week on the Demoscene, the computer art community that these videos focus on. And as always, everything that I mentioned will be linked on the description below, so you can check things at your own leisure. There were quite a few news items and out-of-competition releases that came out this week, and of course we still have to take a look at all the things that came out of Silly Venture 2024 Winter Edition, the largest Atari Demoscene event of the year, so grab your favorite drink and let's get started. Kicking things off, let's take a look at Silly Venture. The party took place a couple of weeks ago, same weekend as Inércia, but in Poland. They had a special jury member, Adam Gilmore, which a lot of you might recognize as having made music for a lot of classics on the Atari and I believe on the Commodore 64 as well. So he was one of the jurors in this specific edition in particular, and they had a dedicated competition covering some of his old tracks with a modern twist. So they had an Adam Gilmore cover competition. The winner was Momentum with the track Time Wizard Deluxe, and you can see they had quite a few number of tracks, 17 overall, and all of them pretty decent quality, so check that out, especially if you are an Adam Gilmore fan. Then they had a small competition for the Atari Falcon Cubase Audio, which only had a single entry by Noe AT. They had the Atari Falcon Graphics competition with only 2 entries, but all of them quite good. Second place, Fill Me Up by Nitrik, and the winner, You Better Not Come Closer by Vasil of Joker and Sweet 16 with his very stylish, clean pixeling art style. Then they also had an Atari Falcon Music competition with only single entry, won by 505. Moving on to the Atari Jaguar, they also only had a couple of entries there. The Atari Jaguar demo saw the release of Kazalin Retro Games Show 2025 invitation, inviting you to the Kazalin Retro Games Show, and a new game for the Atari Jaguar as well, Mighty Frog by Terrence Williams, which seems to be a Q*bert clone. The Atari Lynx also only had a single release, Furore by Triad, but it was a pretty good game overall, so check that out if you have an Atari Lynx. Then the Atari portfolio also only with a couple of entries, Little Effect by MKM of Lamers, Refolio 256 bytes, the new game for it, the POFO 35th game by Innuendo. Moving on to the Atari ST game competition, only 3 entries and all of them were pretty decent. Woodpecker by Mielkus, Tony Montezuma's Gold by Monochrome Productions, and Faster by Chicane winning the competition in particular. A couple of nice, the 2 top ones seemed pretty good, so check it out if you have an Atari. Then they also had an Atari STE 96 kilobyte intro with a few joke entries, some small one-screen scenes, some good pixel art on this one in particular. Gnoll by Flush and Mew getting 3rd place. 2nd place, an invitation for the 68K Inside 2025 Demoscene event that will take place in 2025. And the winner was Forever by 505, Tom and Modmate. A very solid little intro there for the Atari STE. And the Atari STE demo competition also had a quite good number of entries. 7th place, Happy Birthday C264 by King of Disc, talking a little about the history of the Commodore 64 and the Commodore company altogether. Then we had The Void by X-Man, a rather simple couple of effects there, and also tribute to Steve, which passed away a couple of years ago. Then Octogenarian by Vlad, few good effects, all of them very old school looking, but very solidly made. Then The Pleasure demo by Cyberpunks, also a very old school flavored sort of demo, all of those classic effects that you usually see on the Atari. Relapse HD by Cybernetics was a remake of the demo that they released back in '92 or something like that. They optimized a few things, and yeah, pretty big demo slash music disc of some sort. Nice to see a remake of that. Mea Culpa by No Extra was a much more solid demo in my humble opinion. Had new effects, all of them felt quite fresh upgrade, had this old school touch to them, but with proper color scheme, proper attention to detail. It felt a lot more solid as a demo overall. So congratulations NoXtra on a very good demo for the Atari STE. And when it was out of time, they had a lot of 3D scenes, more modern technology, which shouldn't really work on the Atari STE, and I believe that's why they won the competition. A solid little demo, although it's rather unfinished. This was just a party version. It was clear about that. The binaries are not available yet. I only seen the party version through YouTube yet. So yeah, let's give it a few more weeks or months and see if the final version will come out and have a more solid release for the Atari STE, but seemed like a worthy winner nonetheless, so congratulations. Then they had a 128-byte intro competition, The Logistic Road to Chaos by Tesser, with some probabilistic calculations there. Sphere SD by Atari, BDSM, just a very basic dot sphere in 128 bytes. And the winner was Galactica by Marquee Design, doing this space effect in 128 bytes with sound. And it was also released both the Amiga and the Atari, so a double platform released at the same time, and winning Silly Venture 2024 Winter Edition. Congratulations, Marquee Design. The Atari STE 4-channel music competition was won by Bartasek with the track Pixels for Nerds, and then they also had a 4KB intro competition with 3 more entries. Beginnings of a ray tracer, just a very basic scene. I'm guessing it's a ray trace scene, but just a very basic plane so far. In second place, Aurora by New Generation and Hackanology, just a very basic demo with some things moving around and a scroller, not very impressive, but still nice for 4KB. And then the winner can't afford a hard drive, Inkscape to Fractalus by Acid Team, with this standard effect of having dots creating this terrain. A lot of dots on this one in particular. It looked pretty good. The execution was pretty nice. I did miss some diagonal rotations. It only had a simple scroller, but very good implementation nonetheless in 4KB. Then we had the Atari ST graphics competition. Links on the Beach by Zisha seemed clearly a conversion of some sort. Then in 12th place, Sopot Beach by King of Disc, with also some little pixel artwork there. In the 11th place, Spy MM with the sketch drawing of Lynx Cat, which also seems pretty nice. Hughes Travel by Wen, also a nice portrait there. The Circle by Nitric, a lot of attention to detail on the aliasing on this one. Was surprised that this got a nice place. Very good entry by Nitric. In 8th place, BOTW Urboza by Alize with a more fantasy themed pixel artwork. In 7th place, Nitric again with Beer Fantasy, another very high quality piece. A lot of attention to the color details and aliasing on it. In 6th place, New Civilization is being created by Seam1, more fantasy themed image as well, with the reference to the Aztec pyramids and some sort of ritual happening in the sky there. In 5th place, a Thorny Embrace of a Masked Amorous Fervor by Hilst. Very good pixel art here, good use of limited color palettes, really nice image. In 4th place, Death from Above by Hero, with a more abstract gore sort of image there. In 3rd place, Soror Misericordia by Pepe of Hemorrhoids, also very good pixel artwork there, with a lot of details there on the nun and the skulls. 2nd place, the Art Cube by Vasil of Joker and Sweet 16. It's very hard to do glass and ice in limited palettes, so very good work here by Vasil, taking very good advantage of the limited palette, doing this very cool ice cube with the Atari logo in there as well. And in 1st place, Firestarters by Critical of How Job Rebels and Sweet 16. A lot of attention to the pixeling here, doing some diagonals, anti-aliasing, some vertical ones, a lot of different techniques of aliasing, adding a lot of small, interesting details to the image here. So congratulations, Critical, on winning the Atari STE graphics competition at Silly Venture 2024 Winter Edition. Then we also had the Atari YM2149 music competition using the chip from the Atari. It was won by 505 and Modmate with the track Brothers in Arps. Then we had the Atari 2600 demo competition, which actually felt like a game and not actually a demo. The entry is called Berserk Double Agent by Master SQL. They also had a music competition for the Atari 2600 that was won by Night Trance by KK of Altair. They also had a couple of size coding categories for the Atari XLXE, starting off with the 256-byte game competition. 3 little entries here, a remake of Tetris, and the winner was Chicken Meat Crossing by KK of Altair, with the typical crossing of the chicken there without getting run, but everything fitting into 256 bytes, which is quite an achievement here for the limitations. Then they had an intro competition. In third place, Wake Up All by Grzish, with a reference to Space 2001 Space Odyssey. In second place, Basic Fireworks Effect by Koala of Agenda, very good looking for 256 bytes as well. And the winner was an Airwolf themed Poke cover by Jakub Usak, doing a version using the Poke chip of the Airwolf theme song. Then we had the Atari XL Ataski competition, where you had to do graphics using the Ataski car set. Fourth place goes to Neo Loves Kandinsky by Unebula. In third place, Diet Diary by Adam. In second place, 8-Bit Core by Pepe of Hemorrhoids. And the winner was Drashionos by Adam, with this lizard reference here. Also a demo competition, Pixel Dreams Redux by Bohemian Grove and Jack. So this is a demake for the Atari XL XE of the demo that they had previously made for the Atari ST, if I'm not mistaken. And the plot on that was that it was made entirely using AI generated tools. So both the music and the graphics had been made using AI generated tools, but they had a very good synthwave feeling to both the track and the graphics. It was a very solid release, even if it was using AI graphics and AI music. They got a lot of hate for using AI, of course, as is common nowadays, and so they demade it to fit into the Atari XL and both ported the music and the graphics as well. So a nice little effort there, demaking it to a lower specs platform here. And the track still sounds pretty good and the visuals still look pretty good, so good demake overall. In second place, Silly Trip by Desire, doing a very nice demo for the Atari XL, very short, using some 3D, some decent effects, good music, getting second place. And the winner was Unleashed by Radiance, doing some very interesting high color effects there, which is not that common on the Atari XL, I'm gonna say. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Atari experts out there, but I really enjoyed seeing different high color effects that they could do on the Atari XL. So yeah, nice little trickery there, pretty solid demo. I think worthy winner of the competition overall, so congratulations Radiance on winning that one. We also had an Atari XL game competition, which was won by Alex Peckles and Pirks with Avery Breakout, Breakout clone. Then they had the graphics competition as well. Space Rock by Buddy getting 6th place. Then The Eye by Remigiusz Makshalinski getting 5th place. It's Full of Stars by Hairdog in 4th place. 3rd place, Stellar Quest by Kermit83. 2nd place, Right to Links by Rocky of Mad Team, a good reference to the links there. And the winner was Shush by Pepe of Hemorrhoids, with a very good pixel artwork as well of this fantasy-themed Minotaur, I would guess. Then they had a combo for the Pokey chip, which was won by Adam Gilmore himself, the legend. The track is called Draconos 2024. Take a listen to that. The Wild competition also had quite a few entries. I find it amazing how Silly Venture manages to have like over 20 competitions, 30 competitions, and there are still some intros and demos that didn't fit in any of these competitions that need to be released into the wild. Anyways, let's take a look. In 10th place, a video about regatta that they made with some Commodore 64 seniors. Apparently, it's all in Polish, so I couldn't really understand, but it seemed like they had a lot of fun in the sea. And eventually the boat broke down and they get to head rescued, and they played some video games while they wait. That's what I got out of it. In 9th place, a joke reference to Gargai leaving Poet Administration, made with AI generated graphics. In 8th place, also made it with AI generated graphics, 3.6 Glops by Mr. Roast Chicken, a slideshow for the Atari ST. Raiders from Hell by Poison, also AI generated. It does have a funny story to it in the end, so it was funny because of that. Other than that, the images are okay. 6th place, a track by Philip of Damage, all triple color. In 5th place, another AI generated entry, country music disc on the theme of the Demoscene. Funny little tracks. Also, wink eye to the people who hated on their synthwave music disc that was released on the previous party and now had a demake this year. I like the concept. I like that they are exploring AI generated graphics and music in ways that are creative and themed and relevant to something, not just throwing random stuff, but pursuing a concrete goal. I do think that the tracks could be remade properly and had more fine-tuned, but for the concept, for the quick joke concept that it is, I think it was well executed. So congratulations, Bohemian Grove. In fourth place, Party On by Buddy and PPS. In third place, 88 Seconds of Fame by Paradox, a tribute to his father who had passed away this year. In second place, Nova by Group Unknown, which felt like an Atari ST intro, but like a video talking about the intro and not the intro itself. If it was the intro, why wasn't it submitted to the intro competition? So many questions that I don't understand because I don't speak Polish. In first place, Tony 2-in-1 talking about the game that they submitted to the gaming competition that got second place, where they merged two games. Tony, which was this adventurous from Poland, originally from way back when, and Montezuma's Gold, which is this platformer game. So they merged both concepts and they made this nice little solid game for the Atari. I like the video as well, explaining the concept behind the merging of the two games. So congratulations on winning the wild competition. And that was it for this year's edition of Silly Adventure 2024 Winter Edition. I hear they're already planning the Summer Edition already, so stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, going back to Inércia, that happened on the same weekend. The recordings from several of the different events that happened throughout the weekend are now also already available. A seminar by teadrinker about the Allure of tools being one of them. Then, of course, the Shader Royale Jam that took place where we broke the world record. Now it's 33 people simultaneously coding. Live Chiptune set by Enfys as well was pretty good as well, so check that out. Then we had a seminar on the TENET, a deep dive into the lost LnxSpectrum, a network that was made in the 80s by Timex and never really released to the public, and was repurposed or reconstructed by the LoadZX Museum now. Also, a seminar by Correia on repairing the LnxSpectrum. So if you're getting into repairing old electronics, this is a very interesting talk for you to see as well. Also had a roundtable empowering for the digital arts with representatives from several different institutions, some working on an institutional level and some working as outsider grassroots sort of projects, trying to bring more digital arts into the Portuguese community and bringing value and bringing awareness to those topics. Very good talk, very good representatives of different projects, so I highly recommend you checking it out if you would like to know more on how we can empower more people for the digital arts. Then on the same weekend as Silly Venture and Inércia, we saw the release of Versus number 10 by Nucleus and Void. Disc Mag/Shards Mag for the Amiga, also works on OS 4 if you have one of those. And yeah, it gives a nice time capsule in terms of charts on what people think are the best in 2024. Some more controversial, some less controversial votings, but a nice overview overall of the positions. Some interesting articles as well. Some not so interesting ones. I particularly like the one about the AI technology in pixel graphics. It did stir up a little bit of controversy discussion regarding that topic yet again. This is like the fourth time that I've seen this discussion coming back again, but I think it's still worth having because people are still finding ways where the Demoscene fits in relation to AI graphics. So let me give you the rundown of what the Flame War happened and how it got stirred here. So there are a few interviews here at Versus number 10 that interview different active Amiga graphicians and asks them if they use AI, and you see the different answers from all of them. Some admit that they use AI as references for some positioning of things. I think there's a global consensus that there shouldn't be competition strictly for AI in the Demoscene, that it doesn't really have much value in them, but it does work as a tool for some graphicians as references before they repixel or anti-alias things. There was some controversy in particular from the release that happened at Inércia, the hitchhiking bunny from Critical, and also the winner pixel artwork from Silly Venture, also by Critical. So Critical got under a lot of fire for admittedly using AI as references. Instead of using like a photo reference or drawing things from scratch, he generates some prompts on AI, he positions things accordingly, and then he does a repixeling of that particular image. And there was this very big flame war happening on CSDB, on the Commodore 64 forums about it. Some talks also on Facebook that happened about that. Some pixel artists are very against that process and think that on Demoscene competitions, everything should be drawn from scratch. So this topic is not new. And there are some people who are more purists and think that you should draw everything yourself. And that's fine, that can make sense, but you would need a specific competition for that, because if they are supposed to be competing with people who use references or may use conversion tools or some tricks like that, some cheating tricks like that, it's very hard for people to compare things. It starts being apples and apples, start being apples and oranges. So I think that is the bottom line behind this issue. If people were more honest with all of the references and tools and things that they use, we wouldn't have as much of this problem. It's a controversial topic. It's hard to find a proper resolution for it. There are two main fields, some who are more purist and think that we should have more stricter rules for things being strictly original. And I agree to some degree, but I also think that at the same time, everything is a remix and you are always being influenced by something. So it's kind of hard to enforce that idea that everything needs to be strictly original and drawn from source and pixeled by source and everything should be your own. On the other hand, there are people who like to take these shortcuts because they like to explore technology, and Demoscene is inherently to do whatever you want to do, not to follow the specific guidelines. So I feel like these are the two fields that are clashing here. And for me, the resolution would be that people would be more honest with the process when they submit something to a showcase or a competition. They say specifically, okay, I got a prompt from this image, I got a prompt from that image, I repixeled using this and this technique, inspired by this and this person, I use these tools, this is my process. And people who would do everything from scratch would get properly attributed to that. And this is not a new discussion. I remember seeing no copy slogans on some of the images when Photoshop started becoming more common, or even before then. People trying to separate themselves, distinguish themselves from the ones who do the shortcuts, who do conversions, who then correct conversions, who do copies of non-original work. And this boils down to, is it fair in a competition? For me, it's not fair, and I think when you have a competition, you have to have very specific guidelines on what is allowed and what is not allowed, and maybe that is what's missing on some Demoscene competitions. It's not being explicit enough that you need to do all the original work, and that repels some people from participating. Like, some people don't want to participate because they see that other people could easily participate and win with something that would be less effort to create. So I personally am against competitions in artistic stuff, so I prefer showcases. I already talked about this before, but if we are adamant in maintaining the competitions in the Demoscene, then we need to have stricter rules to what is allowed and what is not allowed. And not all parties need to have the same rules. It can be slightly different. Some can allow more things and some can be more strict. So it depends to the party organizer. And if you would like to make a competition that's strictly about everything needs to be drawn from scratch, scanned from scratch, you need to present everything, you need to have like a video capture of all your process, you can do those kind of competitions. And a lot of people will find value in them and would only participate in those. That's how things have moved along in the demo scene throughout the years. So that's the solution, the immediate solution that I see to this problem. Instead of restarting the flame war once again and having these debates, we could just be having specific competitions for these specific things. So yeah, I still see AI as a very worthy tool, especially for references of things. If you need a cyclope, you don't need to be drawing a cyclope from scratch. You don't need to be copying a cyclope from fantasy books. You can just ask for a prompt of one and then adapt it to fit your position a bit better. Graphicians needing references to draw stuff is not new. A lot of people who even sketch something from new still need, photos of something or images of something. They go to Google Images, they have a list of them, and then they draw a version of their own that is similar to that. So it's impossible to have something 100% original. So it's a matter of where you are drawing the line. And of course, every single artist will have a slightly different version of that line. So that's where this discussion comes from. It's hard to define where something starts and where something else ends. That doesn't take away from all the effort that needs to be done to pixel something or anti-aliasing something, even if you already have references. So yeah, it's a matter of mutual respect and narrowing down what is allowed and what is not allowed, so people don't feel withdrawn from participating in those kind of graphics competitions, in my humble opinion. Anyways, Sulevi, the sergeant, a few other people started working on this guide of ethics for the Commodore 64, what should be allowed, what should not be allowed. They have a document where they explain their thoughts, what they think people should be striving for, and what people should be avoiding. So this might be a good guideline to create specific competitions for specific events where you allow certain things and you don't allow certain other things. So yeah, some food for thought there for graphicians to talk a bit more. And I do hope that at the end of this discussion, we end up with more people finding where they can participate. And instead of people walking away from the demo scene, people narrow down where they want to participate, what competitions they want to work on, and which ones do not allow these certain kind of things. Because I personally want to see more people participating, not people going away because, that guy can cheat. So yeah, let's try to find solutions where everyone can participate, regardless if they want to explore AI technology or not explore AI technology, or copying, or references, or Photoshop, or conversions, or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, that's it for that controversy. Moving on to other topics, TOPLAP is having a call for live coders. They're doing this big event on the 21st of December. If you want to have like 15-minute slot to do some live coding, it can be visuals, it can be graphics, wherever you want. Talk with them and show up and represent the demo scene there. And I know some live shader coding people also looking for musicians to collaborate with. So if you're interested in that, come to my Discord and ping some people there, and I think you can do collaborative work for those 15 minutes. Then I saw this news of an update to LnxSpectrum toolchain, a series of emulators and toolchains to facilitate doing development work for the LnxSpectrum. So check it out if you're a Spectrum scener looking for a new toolchain to use. And there is issue number 3 of 64 NOPs being planned for January 2025. It's a physical magazine with some articles. Started from the French scene, but it's international now. If you want to get your article, you can submit, you can back it up now and receive it later on. This is the rundown of the things that you can expect to see in the article itself. A lot of things, mostly focusing on the Amstrad CPC, but a lot of things also resonate with other platforms as well. Then we had the release of Press Play on Tape's video concert from BitLive 2023, which they already had a preview on at Transmission 64 last month, but now they released the full video of the concert. Then Demonighs 18 took place in Bern, Switzerland. They had the screening of different demos, and they even had a new entry by Desire and Spectrox, Ugly Christmas Sweater 2024, which was actually pretty good. Very solid little release. Tries to reuse the concept of doing some knitting to do some patterns, and they reconstructed very well. They have sold this animation, very good music, so very solid little intro there. Congratulations Desire and Spectrox for making this little Christmas intro. And talking about other releases, Batman Group just released Joker Snacks on Blueberries, which is a joke on the Blueberries, Water My Grey Beard, that they released in response to Grade My Water Beard from Photon. So this is essentially a coding challenge of old, where you try to have a roto zoom with as much number of colors as possible. And apparently Rhino from Batman found a way to have an extra color without using illegal opcodes. So he decided to make this little intro and also invite you to attend Posadas Party 2025 in June in Spain next year. So yeah, nice little intro there by Batman Group. And then we have this little Christmas intro by Istari as well being released now. Also worth mentioning, there was this IO Active Hack Solo talk by Pete Beck talking about the lessons learned from the demo scene, comparing the security scene with the demo scene and how there is some overlap in it. Very interesting talk overall, recommend you checking it out. And since we are in Advent Calendar season, check out mRange's Shader Advent Calendar. If you want to learn shader coding, this is the Advent Calendar for you. New things being released every single day. Also similar thing about Tiny Code Christmas, a new challenge being released every single day. Also some extra challenges if you are a veteran in the demo scene or if you want to do some size coding endeavors out of it, also available. So yeah, check those two out. And before we wrap up, look at the upcoming parties that are happening in the demo scene. Not much happening at the end of December now, only a little one-screener online competition for the Commodore 64. I heard of a live stream that might happen at the end of the year, but it's not been properly announced yet. And then we have a whole bunch of small parties happening in January and February already announced. Atari Last Party in Poland, D-Halt in Russia, Rsync in Belgium, Payback and Jumalato Winterfarian in Finland, GURP and Fjall Data in Sweden, then Mountain Bites in Switzerland, Love Bite happening online, Assembly Winter in Finland, Skier Death also in Finland, BCC Party in Germany, Explosive Online and Instancy in Finland, and then Forever and Fianna Data also already being announced for March. So yeah, a lot of demo parties already being planned for 2025. Try to fit one of them into your schedule. And that's it for this week's report. Hope you found some hidden gems here. If you do see value on these reports, please remember to like, subscribe, share the link with a friend. Above all, that really helps us keep the channel growing. And maybe donate me something through patreon.com/psenough. Help me keep improving the setup here. Thank you CSI for this cool effect that I use on the background this week. And I wish you all good winter holidays. See you next week. Bye bye everybody. Take care.